Hello everyone, welcome to Arka Astro Science. So today in this content I am going to talk about a very important transit. A very big planetary energy change is going to happen on 18th of October 2025. Guru Brihaspati, Jupiter, is going to make a big transit. Right now as I am making this content, Jupiter is transiting in the sign of Gemini. But on 18th of October 2025, Jupiter is going to enter its exaltation sign. Dev Guru is going to enter its Ucha Rashi, that is the sign of Cancer. This transit is going to bring a very big change all over the world, in our personal lives, in our society, in the global scale. It is going to bring a very big change. And why it becomes so important? Guru's exaltation. You see, there are two straightforward natural benefic planets. One is Venus, one is Jupiter. Straightforward, Naisargik Subgraha. Mercury and Moon, they are also benefic, but they are conditional benefic. Depending upon the association, depending upon the sign, depending upon other influences, Mercury and Moon may behave as benefic, may behave as malefic. But Venus and Jupiter, they are natural benefic planets. And when we are talking about transit, benefic influence of Jupiter surpasses anything. Very strong, very prominent, dominant, I would say, when it comes to its result. And this benefic planet, Dev Guru Brihaspati, Subgraha, Naisargik Subgraha, entering its Ucha Rashi. So this is going to bring a very big change all over the world. I will talk about its influence, each and everything. But first we have to understand the timings. On 18th of October, Jupiter enters the sign of Cancer. And it moves very slowly, very slowly. If you check the ephemeris, even from today itself, if you check the ephemeris, you will understand that the movement of Jupiter is happening very slowly. And since this movement, this motion is happening very slowly, this also indicates that Jupiter will also turn retrograde very soon. That means this movement of Jupiter into the sign of Cancer will be a glimpse of what Jupiter can provide, what Jupiter can do in its exaltation sign. It will be a glimpse of good days, I would say. Because when Jupiter turns retrograde, it will again move backward and back into the sign of Gemini. So if I talk about the dates, 18th of October, Jupiter enters Cancer, moves very slowly. Okay. Then on 11th of November, Jupiter turns retrograde. Now when Jupiter turns retrograde, that will be the time when it will be in the initial degrees of the sign of Cancer. It moves backwards. On 5th of December, Jupiter jumps into the sign of Gemini. Back again. So this 2 months time, starting from around 2 months, I would say, starting from 18th of October until 5th of December, Jupiter will be in its exaltation sign. Now since Jupiter is preparing itself for the retrograde motion, so the results will be a bit different when Jupiter turns retrograde. But we have to understand one thing: exaltation of a natural benefic planet, and that too of the caliber of Jupiter I am talking about, will bring worldwide changes, positive changes for every one of us. Wheresoever the sign Cancer lies, whichever house it is in your horoscope, you will see positive changes regarding that house, regarding the significance of that particular house in your horoscope, will bring lots and lots of positive changes. Now since it will be a very short amount of time, because Jupiter will retrograde again, so it will be a glimpse that what it can do, because next year in 2026, when Jupiter finally enters the sign of Cancer, you will see that the results or the glimpse which you were expecting, all those positive changes are getting realized, getting manifested. And why I say manifested? Because you have to understand one thing. In the Kala Purusha Kundali, in the natural zodiac, Jupiter rules the 9th house, the house of dharma, the house of fortune, divinity, blessing, guru, teachings of guru, blessings of guru, blessings of the Almighty, the Supreme Soul. Because many a times it happens that we don't need to do anything. You will see that many times you will see that this person don't need to do anything. He or she has got everything in his or her life, or maybe with little efforts they get many things. That is 9th house, that is fortune. Sometimes a little bit of advice can bring a huge amount of positive changes in your life. And you will see that I have just done a little bit and so much good changes are coming in my life. Be it social recognition, be it your own improvement of your positive aura, charisma. So much powerful this particular transit is all about. Now you might think that why I am particularly talking about the importance and the influence. It's because it is that much powerful. Jupiter signifies your 2nd house. Jupiter signifies your 5th house, 9th house and 11th house. So if you are really thinking that Jupiter is just like a guru, a spiritual master, so it will take you to spirituality only, then you are certainly in a trap. Without the blessing of Dev Guru Brihaspati, your 2nd house, 5th house, 9th house, 11th house is not getting activated. When you are talking about the true form of wealth, and here I am talking about the materialistic wealth, I am not talking about wealth has health, wealth has means anything else like spiritual wisdom. I am not talking about that. That is definitely a genre of Jupiter. Here I am particularly talking about prosperity, material progress in this material plane. Without the blessing of Jupiter, without well dignified Jupiter in your horoscope, it becomes very tough to bring that stability, that material stability, prosperity in life. Because finally, when you are talking about the Lakshmi Sthan, who two are the Lakshmi Sthan? 5th house and 9th house. When you are talking about the Kendras, that is the 1, 4, 7, 10, and out of that Kendras also 4, 7, 10. Those who have gone through the studies of Laghu Parasari, they will know better that out of 1, 4, 7, 10, 4th house, 7th house and 10th house, particularly they are the Kendra houses. We call them Vishnu Sthan, pillars of the horoscope. 5th house and 9th house are Lakshmi Sthan. That is the reason 5th house and 9th house has something to do with the blessings. 5th house is Purva Punya. 9th house is blessings directly from the divinity. So they are the prosperity for you, Lakshmi Sthan. Jupiter signifies that. Now since 1st house also becomes the Kendra from 4th house, 7th house or 10th house, that is the reason we talk it 1, 4, 7, 10. But if you really go through Laghu Parasari, you will see that yes, definitely 1st house is a Kendra, 1st house is also a trine. It is also a trinal house. But when you are talking about Vishnu Sthan, it becomes 4, 7, 10. When you are talking about Lakshmi Sthan, it becomes 5 and 9. And from which house do we feel fulfillment of desires? Now someone will say, I manifested something and I achieved it in my life. Who are we to manifest something? Am I God? No. It is that Almighty's blessings which we all are receiving. And suddenly we feel, I manifested something. My dear friend, you might have a very well established Jupiter in your chart. You might have a very strong 9th house in your chart. You might have a very strong 9th Lord in your chart. and you definitely might have a very strong 5th house and 11th house in your chart. Okay, it's just like that. So Jupiter signifies 2, 5, 9, 11 houses. So if you are thinking that Jupiter is only a spiritual master, a guru, wisdom, that is a part, that is only a part of many things of Jupiter. You want material success in this life, you want material prosperity in this life, Jupiter has to be pleased. Jupiter's blessing is must. Very, very important. Jupiter will activate your Lakshmi Sthan. Jupiter will activate your 2nd house. Jupiter will activate your 11th house. So your fulfillment of desires, your manifestation getting true, taking its true form. Jupiter is the planet. Now, if Jupiter is really very strong in your chart, you will see that all those fulfillment of desires, manifestation, which is becoming true in your life, will come from right sources, good sources. You will have a very strong sense of moral values, social recognition backed by morality, righteousness, dharma. You will follow your work, your actions through righteousness, dharma. That is what Jupiter is all about. Now definitely, when we are benevolent enough, our benevolence can be exploited, our benevolence can be misused, can be misinterpreted. That is correct. But again, at the same time, you have to see that when Jupiter becomes very strong, it protects you. Even if there is problem, dharma itself protects dharma. Dharma is that much powerful. And here dharma means duty, dharma means responsibility, dharma means righteousness. You have to understand that. Okay, and now why I say that it becomes more important, because out of the 5 Pancha Mahapurush Yogas, one of the Mahapurush Yoga is the Hamsa Mahapurush Yoga. Now since Jupiter is entering its exaltation sign, so for certain lagnas, for certain ascendants, it is forming the Hamsa Mahapurush Yogas. And what is the rule? That Jupiter has to be Kendra from the ascendant or from the moon sign. From the ascendant or from your moon sign. That is 1, 4, 7, 10. And here one more thing I will just add to it. 1st house, 4th house, 7th house, 10th house, all 4 are Kendra to each other. But out of that also, particularly I have said few minutes back, now again I am repeating it, that if you go through Lagu Parasari says that 1st house is a Kendra and trine both. So particularly we will focus on 4th house, 7th house and 10th house. But when you are talking about the yogas, then definitely take 1st house. 1, 4, 7, 10. Definitely. They are Kendra to each other. There is no doubt about it, that whether should I take 1st house as Kendra or not. Yes, definitely you should take it. Okay. So for the Aries ascendant, it is happening in the 4th house. For the Cancer ascendant, it is happening in the 1st house. For the Libra ascendant, it is happening in the 10th house. And for the Capricorn ascendant, it is happening in the 7th house. So 1, 4, 7, 10. So for these 4 ascendants, this transit of Jupiter has some extra importance, prominence I would say, because it is activating the Pancha Mahapurush Yogas, one of the Pancha Mahapurush Yogas, that is the Hamsa Mahapurush Yoga. That much powerful it is. And if I particularly talk about this particular Mahapurush Yoga, for the ascendants I will discuss while I discuss the ascendant wise result, but one thing I will here add it is that with respect to the particularly with respect to the Kala Purusha Kundali, I would say Kala Purusha Kundali, the natural zodiac, Jupiter is entering the 4th house of the natural zodiac. Cancer becomes the 4th sign of the natural zodiac. So it will improve the positivity at our home environment. What is fourth house? Nourishment, happiness, mental peace, mental security, mother, our bonding with mother, motherly figure, love and happiness which we receive from mother, the place where we live in, the place where we find happiness. And Jupiter is divinity. So Jupiter is the only planet which gives us the true sense of happiness. And when we finally find happiness, because when we feel that relaxed mind, that we don't have any other tension, and that is the only way by which we find happiness, when we don't have any tension, any stress in our mind. That is the reason Jupiter finds exaltation in the fourth house of the natural zodiac. You will see that when your mind is free from fear, your mind is free from any kind of stress or tension, that is the true form of happiness, because that is the time when you can think freely. That mental independence I am talking about, that freedom, because then your wisdom will be uplifted, your social recognition, particularly because when you are talking about social recognition, it is not only about the outside world. At the place where you are living in, the place where you are living with your near and dear ones, you will be recognized, and that will go from one sense to another. So it gives social recognition, high sense of morality, uplifted wisdom, knowledge, improvised and improvement in property, vehicles, bonding with mother will be improved I would say. So this will bring a very positive change in our life. And since fourth house has something to do with material growth, because fourth house talks about our luxuries, comforts, home, property, landed property, agriculture, vehicles, conveyances and conveniences in any form, that is fourth house. But fourth house is also Moksha Trikona. So why fourth house has something to do with moksha? The answer lies by the exaltation of Jupiter. As I said, that when you are completely free from any kind of fear, when you have liberated all the fear and tension, the stress from within, that is a type of moksha. Because you see, the moksha of fourth house is different from moksha of eighth house. Moksha of 12th house is different from moksha of 8th house. 4, 8, 12 are the moksha trikona, but the results of moksha trikona for 4th house, 8th house and 12th house are different to each other. So what is the moksha of 4th house? That freedom from fear, freedom from insecurity, freedom from any kind of stress. Because when you enter your home, when you feel that freeness within, that yes, I don't have any other tension, I can simply sit at my place, I can have rest, I can have some good food. That is the reason 4th house is also nourishment. I know in my home I have my parents, I have my motherly love. So I can simply go to my mom and say that yes, I am going through something, please give me some advice, please make my life more happier. And suddenly you feel that every problem is solved. Motherly love, that is the reason you will see that the sign of Cancer has something to do, some kind of association with goddess Lakshmi. Any kind of luxury, any kind of comforts or anything, conveniences, anything you want in your life, 4th house, your happiness, mental happiness, Jupiter is going to uplift it. Now people will say that this is one part of the life. This is very important, because until now when Jupiter was transiting in any other houses, any other signs, we were thinking that which house it is aspecting, which sign it is transiting. Now Jupiter is getting that dignity, accept it. When Jupiter turns retrograde, the results will be different. That's a different story. But it will be in the sign of Cancer. And one more thing, Jupiter will be Vargottama. The position of Jupiter will be in the Vargottam sthiti, Vargottam state. Why? It will be in the first navams of the sign of Cancer. And if you go through the transit, starting from 18th of October, you will see that Jupiter will be in the sign of Cancer in the D9 chart also. In the D1 chart also and in the D9 chart also. That means Jupiter is getting that prominence in the Vargottam sthiti also. That means the Mahapurush Yoga becomes more prominent, exaltation of Jupiter becomes more prominent, and the results delivered will be very quick, very fast, even if it is moving very slow. So it will give you the glimpse that what it can give you when it finally enters the sign of Cancer next year. Because now it is moving for some days and then again it will turn retrograde, it will come back. But you have to understand one thing, that it is very, very important. Next comes another thing, is that in this month, very soon Mars is going to enter the sign of Scorpio. And when Jupiter enters the sign of Cancer, it will aspect Scorpio by its fifth aspect. So not only that, it is actually activating the Moksha Trikon. Let me talk about Scorpio first. Our insecurities, our fear. Suddenly you will see that now you have got that strength, that wisdom, that enlightenment. Any small matter which was creating problems in your life, and you were simply moving in darkness. What should I do? What can be the solution? Mars entering the sign of Scorpio, Scorpio sign gets strength. Jupiter aspecting Mars in Scorpio, strength is backed by enlightenment, knowledge, wisdom. That is even more powerful. So 4, 8, 12, that is Cancer, Scorpio and Pisces, wheresoever it lies in your horoscope, you will see all of a sudden the results are becoming more prominent. Positive, I would say. One more thing. Jupiter and Saturn has something to do with the double transit. And the results of double transits are very, very straightforward, very, very accurate. Whichever sign, whichever house, Jupiter or Saturn, both are aspecting or both are either by transit, position or by aspect. Any particular house or any particular sign which are getting the influence of Saturn or Jupiter will experience the results of double transit of Jupiter and Saturn. That's it. And during this particular time, when Jupiter enters the sign of Cancer, Jupiter will be aspecting the sign of Pisces, where Saturn is transiting. Now Pisces is ruled by Jupiter itself. So the exalted Jupiter aspecting Pisces means the sign of Pisces is getting more prominence. Because first of all, whenever Jupiter aspects a house, the results related to that house becomes improvised. And since it is its own house, own sign, so now it will give more positive results. Thirdly, double transit, because Saturn is also transiting in the sign of Pisces. Saturn's transit in the sign of Pisces brings boundaries in compassion, because what is Pisces? Pisces is compassion, universal love. Saturn says, wait, compassion is okay, but what if it drains you? What if that you don't know where to put the boundaries, because that happens normally. Because that is how your benevolence is getting exploited. Or sometimes you may feel that I am always surrounded by toxic people. They always come, they take away my energy. And what should I do? Here Saturn says that bring that grounded reality within you. Spirituality is okay. Practical spirituality is good. Draw that boundary, that what is good and what is bad. And now when Jupiter aspects it, spiritual awakening in mass scale, backed by morality, backed by righteousness, because now it is very difficult for anyone to get influenced in some wrong way. Like suppose I say you something and you are getting influenced by me without knowing the logic behind it. That is not correct. Suppose we forget that we also have reasoning skills. What will happen? We will never question. So the starting point of questioning, that what is right and what is wrong, what is correct and what is not correct, or it can be anything else. Saturn in Pisces brings that sense. When Jupiter aspects it, it happens in mass scale, because now spiritual awakening backed by morality, backed by righteousness and wisdom and enlightenment, I would say, will be at the larger scale, because Pisces signifies large water body, ocean. So it is happening in the large scale, because when you are talking about the mind, our emotions, it is just like waves. So now we will have more capacity to hold wisdom and knowledge, that too backed by knowledge and wisdom. Okay. Another thing is that since it is happening in the sign of Pisces, the countries and the nations which are having more coastal areas, or I would say means anything related to water body, navy or something like that, there can be constructive results, there can also be disruptive results, depending upon the horoscope and chart of the country, or depending upon the area, which part of the world it is. Constructive, it means like protective measures, some good law, regulations happening for the betterment of the society, for the people. When I talk about disruptive, it means it can be rise of water levels, it can be anything related to floods or any water body things. Okay, it can be any kind of calamity also. Then that will be backed by that constructive measures. So it is happening both at the same time. Okay, so that is the result of double transit. Now this will also impact every one of us in the personal level. So this transit of Jupiter will bring so much changes in our life, and it is going to be like right from the first day you will experience it, because Jupiter is Vargottama. So if you are new to this channel, tap onto the subscribe button, click onto the notification bell icon, so that every time I make a new content you get notified instantly. And if you want a consultation from me, check the links down in the description section. You can mail me through my email ID, or you can get connected with me through my Facebook or Instagram accounts. So on this note, I will sign off for today. That's it from my side on this particular content. Next time I will be coming back with the 12 ascendants for this particular transit, that how it is going to impact every one of us for all the 12 ascendant signs. So you will check it from your ascendant, you will check it from your moon sign also. Okay, so next time I will be coming back with that particular content for the Jupiter transit in the sign of Cancer. So till then I am signing off for today, thanking you, bye bye.